Hi, and welcome to a gentle yoga practice. My name's Kaylee. I'm just adjusting my screen really quickly. When you're ready, you can meet me for this practice lying down on your back. You can also always feel free to elevate your head and your neck as you come down onto your back. Let's bend the knees for a moment. Bring your arms away from your body a little distance so you have some space. Bring the feet and the knees together, and then start slowly toggling your knees from one side to the other. It may feel good to close the eyes down. Sometimes that's helpful. Can create a little bit more ease in connecting to the sensations in your body, starting to shift your energy. So often is flowing outward into the world around us, the people that we care about, the work that we do, our to-do list, whatever it is, but starting to welcome that energy back inward to yourself. Continue to toggle your knees like this, just a few more rounds. It may feel good to invite the chin to rock the opposite direction of the knees. Taking some deeper breaths in through your nose. Maybe opening your mouth as you exhale. A couple more rounds of breath like this. Long inhales through your nose. And then full exhales, taking your time to empty out completely before again you take another big breath in. And let it go. And let your head and your knees come back through the center. And then bring your right knee into your chest. You can interlace your fingers around the right knee or the right shin. You're welcome to keep the left foot planted here, or it sometimes feels nice to stretch that left leg out long in front of you. But hug the right knee in as much as feels good, and then circle your right ankle a few times. So switch the direction of your ankle circles, maybe slow down the circular motion that you're making and get really into that rotational movement at the ankle joint. And then we're gonna hug the knee in just a little bit deeper here. So we're finding that end range that's not uncomfortable, that's not painful, but that's maybe right up against where the body's like, oh, no, I can't give you any more. I can't give you another centimeter. This is good. And then take a breath into that space, into that degree of stretch. So you can keep the shoulders relaxed here as you exhale. Bring your right leg and extend it toward the ceiling here, and then point and flex through your right foot a couple times. Go nice and slow. Involve the toes. You can point the toes and then pull them back toward your knee. Right knee does not need to be straight. We're just checking in with the back of that leg through the Achilles and the calf muscle, as well as the back of the thigh. And then let's rebend that right knee into your chest again, interlacing your fingers. Start to flex both of your feet here. So heels are gonna push away from your body. Draw the chin toward your chest as you lift your head and your shoulders away from the floor. Start to engage through your abdominals here. And then maybe you still have that left knee, left foot down. That's great. If you've got the leg long, float the leg up off of the mat. For 3, for 2, meet with that left leg long, even if you've got it planted, extend it for a moment, and then switch your legs, lowering the right leg or setting the right foot down as you lower your head and your shoulders. So you can choose whether that right knee is bent or the leg is long, hugging your left knee in this time as you draw some circles with the left ankle. I like to go a little slower in these gentle practices and really move through the ankle, switch direction, find all those little nooks and crannies. There's so many joints in the feet, so many little connection spots. See if you can explore and find some of them. Give your knee a good squeeze into your chest. Stay there. Once you find that deep stretch, take a big breath in. And a long breath out. And the left leg extends, pointing and flexing through your left foot and ankle. As you mobilize the lower limbs here, just check in around the face and notice if you can let go of any gripping that might be showing up around the mouth or the eyes. We're gonna hug the left knee in again, give it a nice hug. Curl your head, your neck, and your shoulders off of the mat, engaging through your abdominals here. The right leg can be long or that right foot can be down. If you've got a long right leg, let's start to float it up while you continue to pull the abdominal wall down toward the mat or the floor beneath you for 3. Meet with that right leg lifted if the knee is bent, 2. And then both knees into your chest. Separate your knees wide and reach between your knees to catch the feet for a happy baby variation. You can keep this butterfly version of happy baby, or you might start to spread the feet out, bringing the ankles over the knees and guiding the knees back toward the underarm area or toward the space behind you. And take a couple rounds of breath. Maybe you add a little rocking motion. Last little bit on the back like this. Let's extend both legs up toward the ceiling, palms down by your side for a little support. Separate your feet to about hips distance apart so there's some room, and then draw opposite ankle circles here. Let your entire leg kind of move around, so draw opposite circles with your legs from the hip. Start at the ankle and see if you can move into the hip, and then switch. So switch ankle circles. And then from that hip socket, letting your pelvis get a little bit involved here so that you can make that circular motion with each leg. All right, knees to the chest. When you're ready, you can rock or roll from one side to the other. We'll land in a quadruped position. So that's going to be the tabletop with your wrists under your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. From here, go ahead and bring the knees and the feet together. Stack your ribs over your shoulders, and then bump the hips side to side, keeping your rib cage pretty still if you can. So ribs stay, shoulders stay in place. And you're warming up through the sides of the waist and through the outer edges of the hips and the thighs. Come back through the center, separate your knees to about hips distance apart here. And then we're going to extend the right leg back, lifting through the entire leg here. From here, we're going to bend the right knee so that it comes right underneath the right hip, and then open the right knee out to the right. Bring it back underneath the hip and then extend the leg long. Do that again. Right knee comes under the hip, knee opens to the right, back under the hip, and then stretch long. 2 more like that, breathing nice and deeply. Last time, once that right leg is long, hold it there for a moment. Lift through the abdominals. You can stay here or you can tent your left fingers. You can stay there or you can reach the left arm long. Keep lifting through the abdominals here. If you lift that left arm, also lift through the lats. So through the sides of the back and the sides of the ribs for 3. Deep breaths 2, relax the facial muscles and release it down. Knees come kind of wide here as you press back into a child's pose. You can rest on either side of your face or let your forehead drop down and take 3 nice full breaths. And one more, breathing into the back side of your body, down toward your kidneys and your adrenals. And perhaps when you're ready, you can open your mouth and sigh the breath out. Slide back to that tabletop position. We'll keep the knees underneath the hips this time. Drop the belly down as you look forward, finding cow. Doesn't need to be the biggest range of motion ever here. In your cow, imagine pulling the heels of your hands back toward your knees and feel the collarbones broaden out as you do that. Look over your right shoulder, take a breath in. Stay in cow, look over your left shoulder as you exhale. Chin through the center, look up on a breath in. And then come into cat as you exhale, empty, 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 curling in on yourself, scoop the pelvis under, stay here, take a few breaths. It might feel good to give your head a little shake or a little nod. Do a little jaw check, unclench the teeth, maybe move the lower jaw around. Stay and breathe into the back side of the body again, just like we did it in child's pose, but this time can you send your breath even further down toward the back bottom edge of each of your lungs. Really expand underneath the ribs, toward the back of the pelvis. Take a breath in. And then stay here. As you exhale, you might even climb onto the tips of the fingers. We're going back to cow. Long inhale, palms plant down, look forward. And then cat, curl the spine, chin to the chest as you exhale, option to come up onto fingertips. 2 more, really take your time breathing in as you find cow. And exhaling to scoop in and round into your cat. 1 more round, really check in with all of the little segments of your spine. And find a nice neutral again. This time we're going to kick the left leg back. And then we're working in external rotation of that left hip here. So we'll bring the knee underneath the hip, but hover it off the floor and then open the knee out to the side. Bring the knee back under the hip and extend it back. So keep moving through that little pattern. Encourage you to go real slow actually with this. Find some stability in the arms, in the trunk. So minimizing the rocking motion that might be happening elsewhere in the body and really focusing just on the movement of that left leg. Let's do 1 more like that. So good to work this external rotation of the hips. Re-extend the left leg nice and long. Stay here or tent your right fingertips. Stay there or reach your right arm long as well. Think about lengthening. Maybe you couldn't do it on the other side, but you can point the left toes and stretch through the right fingertips. Not necessarily looking for a ton of height here, as much as looking for a big stretch. Breathe in. And then back to a child's pose. If you rested on one side of your face, go ahead and rest on the other side. Take 3 of those deep breaths. And in fact, if the deep breath feels forced, just take 3 breaths. A little extra sounds here, letting in a pet. After you finish those 3 breaths in child's pose, go ahead and sit back onto your heels. We're going to do a little bit of rotation and activation for the whole body here. So we'll be sitting on the heels. And then you're going to bring your left hand to your left hip. The right hand is going to come outside of the left hip. So left hand, left hip, right hand outside. As you stand up onto your knees, bring your right elbow back behind you. Press the hips forward and look toward your right elbow. Let's sit back onto the heels, reaching that right hand back outside of the left hip. Press into the shins as you lift up, extend the hips forward, bring that elbow back and look toward your right hand or elbow. Do that again, so sink it back down. This time, take a breath in as you lift up. Stay here, stretch that right arm back in space. And then sweep a long right arm all the way back down, lowering the hips back to the starting position. Good. We're going to move with the exhale. So instead of the breath I cued the first time, let's exhale, hips up, bend the elbow, rotate, straighten the arm. And then inhale, sweep it all the way back down. As soon as you get there, exhale, bend the elbow, reach long. And then inhale, sweep it back down. If that breath doesn't work for you, keep going, but breathe in whatever way feels smoothest, feels most smoothest. And just 1 more round and we're going to stay in that lifted position on this side. So peel up and open, straight right arm, and then bring your right hand to the small of the back. Let's reach the left arm up for a half camel as you press the hips forward, scoop the tailbone under the body a bit. And find a stretch to the chest, stay here, but bring your left hand to the back of the head or left fingers around the left ear. And then lift the base of the skull away from the rest of your spine as you let your head fall into your left hand. Deep, deep breaths right into the center of the chest. Can you relax through the jaw and the shoulders? Strong through your legs, strong through your abdominals. And then we're going to sit all the way down. Take your time. Palms face down on your thighs. Close the eyes or bring your gaze down past the bridge of your nose and just notice how you feel. Just a couple more moments here, gently scanning your body, see if there's areas where you can relax a little bit. But maybe also notice areas where you can find some support. Checking in with your midsection and using the muscles around your waist area to find support. Shrug the shoulders toward the ears, take a big breath in. And then when you're ready, open mouth, exhale. Blinking the eyes open. We're gonna take that same rotational movement on the other side. Right hand, right hip, left hand to the outside. As you rise up onto your shins, bring the left elbow back. And then hinge the hips, sit back down, bringing the left hand outside of the right hip. So let's do a few of these, maybe 3 to 6, depending on how quickly you're moving. I'm gonna go nice and slow. That helps me find a little bit more of a smooth quality and feel a little more connected. Once you get the hang of the movement, see if you can let your eyes follow the left hand or the left arm. And then we're going to pause at the bottom to add on. This time, as you extend the hips, bend the elbow and then extend that left arm as far as is comfortable, looking toward the left. Bring that left arm long over the body as you sink your hips back, left hand to the outside of the right leg. Keep moving like that. I like an inhale as I sweep and rainbow that arm and sit down. And an exhale as I lift and reach back. But you do what makes sense for you. It's one of the beauties of this practice of yoga is we really truly are invited to explore and experiment and learn what's right for our bodies. Honor that instead of trying to fit some sort of cookie cutter mold that maybe we just don't fit. We get to be the shape and move the way that works for us. There's something really beautiful about that self-awareness and about that self-acceptance of our own diversity and uniqueness. Finish up and stand tall, reaching that left arm back. We'll bring the left hand to the lower back, so you're standing on your shins, right arm comes up, and then do that little scoop of the pelvis before you start to take it back into half camel. Right hand can come to the base of the skull and lift the head away from the rest of the spine. So we're not just extending the spine, but we're finding a little bit of space between the vertebra of the neck here. Let your head fall into your right hand. Nice deep inhale. And then slowly sit back down, seated meditation. Palms can be up or down. Let the eyelids get heavy. Or maybe you just bring your gaze softly somewhere right past the bridge of the nose, noticing how you feel. Hold your shoulders up toward your ears. Take a very big breath in. As you exhale, slowly roll the shoulders down your back and then let your right ear fall toward your right shoulder. Stay there and just breathe. Feeling into the gentle stretch in the left side of the neck. And just check that you're sitting up tall. So the only bend, it's called lateral flexion, is really in the neck. The rest of the spine is nice and long. Again, midsection is supporting you. Sometimes I bring my hand to my low belly just to kind of encourage a little lift there. Let's bring the chin to the chest. Maybe you give it a little tiny eighth of a nod in each direction before, again, you shrug your shoulders in, breathing in. And then as you exhale, shoulders down, relax left ear toward the left. Couple nice deep breaths here. And back to maybe I'm working with this idea, not so much about deepening the breath as smoothing it out. So deepening your breath feels kind of like a strain or it feels forced. Just see if you can smooth out your breathing. Let the body open to fuller inhales and slower exhales. Chin to the chest, some little half nods again. And then let's meet all the way on the side body with the knees bent. So the last thing we're gonna do is, I don't know what we call this, an alligator twist. You might bring something underneath your ear, so laying on either side of the body, stacking the knees, and then bringing the arms long, right in line with the shoulders out in front of you. I know my wall is going to be in the way here. We're going to reach that top arm all the way up as far back as you can. And then slow and smooth, bring that top arm back to the starting position. So it's a big stretch, rainbowing that arm up far as you could get. And then back together. 2 more on this side. The next time you land in that twist, pause there. And just allowing the chest to open, maybe nodding the chin toward what is your back arm, or maybe we would call it the top arm, the one that was moving. And come to the center, and then we're just going to switch to the other side. So same thing, stack your knees, stack the arms, and then allow that top arm to open up as far as it comfortably can. Before again, you bring it back to that starting position, following that top arm with your eyes. So let your head come along for the ride. Just 1 or 2 more passes through here, and then when you're ready, you can land in that twist for a few breaths before we close practice together. So land in the twist. See if you can send your breath a little further down your spine. Just gently inviting that flow of prana to move more and more through the body, bringing fresh nutrients and oxygen and energy through your entire system. When you're ready from your twist, you can work your way into a final shape. You could take Shavasana. If you're near a wall, you might join me in legs up the wall. You can also use like a piece of furniture and bring your calves onto like the seat of a couch or a chair. If you've got something to head to shortly where you need to be really alert, maybe you close practice in an upright seated meditation. But give yourself a few moments to regroup, to reset, and to be in a shape that is somewhat restful, where we're not asking the body to stretch or to overly contract through any of the muscles. In fact, do the opposite. Can you let your legs relax, let them get heavy? Release the hips and the lower back. Soften the belly, let it settle. Let the shoulders relax and the arms and the hands be heavy. As you move up through the head, unclenching the jaw, relaxing the muscles around the eyes. And just being here, being still for another moment. When you're ready to move on, you can invite some gentle movement, maybe a big breath, or even a kind of synthetic yawn as you stretch, and eventually come back to a seat. Bringing your hands to your heart, either palms face down around your heart space or in Anjali Mudra. And taking one last moment before you move into whatever's next for you, to acknowledge yourself for carving out a little bit of time to move, to breathe, to regroup, right? To pull your own energy back inward in a way that hopefully feels restorative and prepares you to allow that energy to pour outward intentionally into the things that you care most about. Thank you again for joining me. Keep taking good care of yourself, and I hope to see you soon.